Next up, Maryland gubernatorial candidate for the GOP nomination is David Craig. He's a Harford County executive, and he joins us right now. Mr. Craig, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So talk to me about what we're going to do about this economy. Now, we've got 31,000 Marylanders leaving Maryland since 2007. About 6,000 or more small businesses have left Maryland in that same time. The taxes are out of control. What is your priority to help the economy grow again? Which, by the way, if people didn't know this, as other states in this area are growing, everyone thinks Maryland's economy is so good. In 2013, they ranked 49th in the United States. That's according to the Baltimore Business Journal.
Yes, that's very bad.
So what are we going to do?
The key is to eliminate the income tax. The income tax is the one that hurts most people in Maryland. It hurts the small business owners because most of them pay their tax through the personal income tax. 94% do it that way, not through the corporate income tax. And the large number of people that I see as I've traveled statewide and put over 84,000 miles on the car is that people who are retiring don't want that tax on their pensions because they could move to Delaware, Pennsylvania, somewhere else. So if we eliminate the income tax by phasing it out, that would help keep people decide to stay in the state of Maryland, and then that would build our economy, and that would help small businesses create more jobs, keep jobs here. So that the key is the personal income.
So when you're debating Anthony Brown and he says, Mr. Craig is irresponsible, he's going to eliminate income tax, which means we're going to have starving children in the streets. We can't do everything, and we're going to have big deficits unless he starts cutting all of these great benefits that you, the people of Maryland, have voted for. What's your response?
The reality is, just think what they did. They're good at addition, in other words, adding taxes. They're not good at subtraction. We don't have to eliminate any of those services. All we have to do is make ourselves more efficient in the state of Maryland. We've done that in Harford County by lowering taxes. It's spending less money, and it's all internal because there's duplication inside of government that actually doesn't provide the services. So it can be done. It will be done. People will be voting themselves a pay raise first by voting for David Craig and getting rid of the income tax. It is about spending the money more efficiently, and they've done a horrible job at that for the last 8 years. They keep, if he says we won't have the money, they keep raising taxes, and then they keep spending more money than they brought in. And this is actually, when you tax people like this, they decide to go somewhere else. That means you're losing tax money, and you're losing the people. So it can be done, and it will be done. And I have that executive experience, having been the county executive, that we actually know how to balance a budget. We know how to spend money better. My budget this year is actually $80 million smaller than last year, and nobody will ever know of any service that might have been eliminated because we didn't eliminate any service.
Wow, really? You were able to cut it that much?
Yes, we went from $814 million to $734 million this year, and no one will see any change in what's going on. It's just, you look around and find out, all right, why are we spending this money and somebody else is spending that money? I do something different than other elected officials do. The last 3 months, I tell them, no, you can't spend your money unless you come through us to make sure we say it's okay to do it. A lot of governments, federal government in particular, it's like you better spend your money in those last 3 months because if you don't, then they're going to cut your budget. Well, guess what? I'm going to cut it anyway. So it can be done.
All right. So, look, there's one candidate on the Democratic side who is running out there saying that, what we really need in Maryland is to just legalize marijuana and then tax it.
We can provide early education to every child and pay for it by legalizing and taxing marijuana.
Yes, we're going to make you smarter by using a substance that makes you dumber.
Yes.
That's just Delegate Heather Mazur. What do you think about that?
That doesn't work either. One, I'm opposed to legalizing marijuana because, as you said, it does make you dumber. People who use that do see about a 10% decline in their IQ. It does cause more traffic accidents because you're delayed. Your mind just works slower. You have over 400 chemicals in that are in your body. If you drink alcohol, we don't want you doing that either. But if you drink alcohol, it takes 24 to 48 hours for that to get out of your blood. For marijuana, it takes 30 days to get out of your blood. So it is a big problem. I guess our next step would be to tax heroin because heroin's a huge drug that's killing people in the state of Maryland at this point. No, it doesn't do that. And, this whole thing about raising the alcohol tax, actually people think that we've declined in drinking. No, the only way they calculate is where it's been sold. If you go to Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania to buy your alcohol, you're still drinking. So it's not the best way to do it. And we can still provide I have a daughter who is a pre-K teacher, and we could have grant programs to help people send their children to those programs. We wouldn't need millions of dollars to hire more people publicly. Now, also, then you have to create their pension, their health care benefits, build new buildings, things like that. These pre-K facilities already exist privately in churches and small businesses all over the state of Maryland. We don't need to create this new thing. But creating that it's almost comical to hear someone say that that's the best way to balance your budget. Because if you're really opposed to people smoking things and you raise their taxes, you really want to decline how much smoking takes place, which means you lower the amount of tax money you bring in. They just don't get they're not very good math students.
Our guest is David Craig. He is a good math student. He's a Harford County executive, and he's done a pretty good job keeping that county's budget in line. He wants to be your mayor. He wants to be, first, your gubernatorial candidate. Excuse me. He wants to be your governor, and he wants to be your candidate on the Republican side. Listen, first of all, real quick question. Who would you prefer to run against in the general election, Brown or Gansler or Missouri?
I coached soccer for 25 seasons. I'm used to someone showing up on the other side. It really doesn't matter.
All right. So let's assume it's Brown, considering the polls seem to put him in that position. His handling of Maryland's health care system is certainly going to be topic number one, I would think, for any of the Republican candidates. How are you going to hit him on that, and what is your solution for improving health care in Maryland?
Well, the reality on that is that's just a preview of the disaster of what would happen to all the other issues that he would have to handle if he was the governor. It's not just that he did a bad job on that. That just shows you that he's going to do a bad job on just about everything else. I would have we have over 2,000 private brokers who already did handle this issue. All we needed to do was to tell the people of Maryland, all right, you select your private broker. They will actually get you in health care and get you accessibility to it. And then if there's a $25 fee, we could have used the money and said, all right, we'll give you a little grant to make sure you get that program. We probably would have spent less than $75 million to have done that instead of the $250 million that's already been spent, and then created this new bureaucracy with a company that never did it right. I was watching the Super Bowl this past year, and I saw the Blue Cross Blue Shield said, if you go online and want to become one of our customers, it takes 10 minutes. Look at what a disaster we've had on the other side. People have had to wait and wait and wait. We could have phased it in. They should have done it as a pilot program. As a teacher for 15 years, assistant principal, you do things as a pilot program first. You test it, see if it works. They could have done this they could have selected a small county and said, all right, company, we're going to send you to this county, and you got to show us that you can do it and prove it that we did the right thing.
Yeah.
It would have proven quickly that they did the wrong thing, and phase it in. You phase things in.
David Craig, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the election on Tuesday. By the way, you just mentioned you're a soccer coach. You have a prediction for USA versus Portugal?
I was very surprised when we won the game yesterday. What was it? Now I forget.
Monday against Ghana.
Yes, Monday now. That was very good because we lost a couple of good players. You can never tell. I mean, sometimes something happens. Look at when the Russians were playing, and that guy let the ball go right through his arms.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my word, you got to just make sure that they're paying attention. That is the same thing. It teaches you how to campaign because you have to have a good game plan, a good team, and you have to have a coach that says, keep your eyes open and watch what you're doing.
All right, this is going to be the campaign theme song, I think, for Craig. He's a soccer guy. Look at that. All right, David Craig, thanks for joining us.